And welcome to episode 114 of 280 Reading Comics. Today we're going to be reading the second half of She-Hulk. We also have some segment going in there, and I have to pay up for that stupid Harry Potter quiz. So yeah, we'll get into that, and here's the show. And welcome to Best Damn Book Club on the internet. My name's Ryan Talmadge. That's Davis Crocker. And today is episode 114. We're going to be doing the second half of She-Hulk.
Woohoo!
Yeah. I guess first things first. You aced probably the easiest Harry Potter quiz there ever was.
Yeah, that was pretty damn easy, buddy.
And so then you got $100, or you could have wiped mine. You could have wiped mine out.
Yeah, but you had to celebrate the first perfect.
And so you got $100 towards any comic book or item in a comic book shop you wanted.
Yep.
You sent me the link, and here it is. You can look it on YouTube. I believe this is the one we did for Continuous, but it's the Darth Vader omnibus from Marvel. There you go.
Woohoo!
I'm handing it to you.
Woohoo! It's the Char Soul, his 2015 run, the collected Darth Vader from 1 to 25, and the annual, the Vader Downs, and then also some crossover with the original story, Star Wars line of
Was this the
2015.
one where it was him and not Tarkin, was it?
No, this is the one where they
did the most dangerous game with him
he
and
bleeds his crystal.
Yeah.
This is all that's all in this collection.
He does the most dangerous game with Tarkin or whoever that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then this is also where he went and got into the Jedi Temple and stopped the librarian.
Yeah.
And she shot a fucking lightsaber gun at him.
She's the one that called him Anakin Skywalker, and then he had to kill every
he had to kill everybody in the fucker. But yeah, sweet. I can add this to my collection. This is my second Marvel omnibus. Behind Spider-Man. I got that one at Christmas.
Oh yeah. You also we can get into that later because that's gonna be a different segment this month. But yeah. So She-Hulk has been coming out now.
Yes.
This is September
the
5th as of recording. We've had 3 episodes. You have not watched.
I've not had a chance to watch them yet.
You're more of a binger, though.
I am. My wife and I have been doing the Game of Thrones, the new House of Dragons together. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm more of a binger. I've gotten in that habit.
I like having something every week I can look forward to. Finding reasons to live and move on to the next day. I don't know if She-Hulk's a good one, but it's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I've enjoyed it so far. It is only 30 minutes an episode, and I'm just
which is nice.
I wish, like every time I get to it, they're like, seems like they're about to get into the meat of the story, and it just shuts off. I'm just like, I want more.
How many episodes is this season gonna be? Is it just 8 in this one?
I want to say 6 or 8, somewhere in there.
Because what's odd is the new Daredevil that's gonna come out. There's like 18
episodes.
Yeah.
Which, that tells me, hey, there might not. Either they're putting a lot of connective tissue into that, like they're gonna tie up a lot of loose ends with that, or Daredevil might not show up in the movies, and so they're gonna.
This is his.
Yeah.
And in that way, they can then introduce Luke Cage,
the
Iron
rest
Fist.
of the Defenders. Yeah. I don't know if that'll
we
do
also
Iron
get a little
Fist.
Tom Holland Spider-Man hop in there, but fuck you, Sony.
Maybe. I hope
That'd be awesome.
But yeah. She-Hulk's pretty good so far. I know this most recent one, people were like, oh, having Megan Thee Stallion in an episode was so cringy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you have to realize this was probably meant for, like, more of the female audience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely
like I
a
said,
female-focused hero. I mean, this
is like when we read the second half for us last month, for y'all last week.
Yeah.
It definitely felt like a Legally Blonde meets the Marvel Universe, which I had an older sister who made me watch that movie 1,000 times. I love Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
So I like it, but if you want to get into
we'll hit some credits up.
I know Dan Slott is the writer.
Yes. So we've got. Ooh, this is gonna be fun. So yes, again, Dan Slott is the writer. You have the penciler, which is Gene Babillo, inker Marcelo Sosa, colorist Chris Chuckery, and Avalon Studios Dave Kemp. For the She-Hulks 5 through 6 and 9 through 12, you got penciler Paul Pelletier, inkers Tom Simmons with Don Hillsman, Roland Paris, and Rick Mayer. Colorist Avalon Studios and Dave Kemp. And again, I have like the collected like crazy stuff, so there's a lot more artists and stuff in here.
You got the one that was 1 through 12.
Yeah, that was the smart choice with the 1 through 5, and it cost me less. Yeah. Now, how I feel like the second half wasn't actually connected to the first half.
I'm gonna be honest. I was not a fan of the second half.
No.
And I don't know if this is just an inherent part of, because like we talked about last week, Dan Slott writes Marvel style, which is basically
he just tells them what he just
gives
them
a summary of what
yeah.
he wants, and then they draw it. They like the artist has to make more decisions, and they draw it, and then the writer comes back and fills in text bubbles and stuff. I would say based on the amount of text bubbles and thought bubbles and speech bubbles that were in the second half, maybe the artist didn't fully understand. I don't know.
Yeah,
now I know we might have talked about this when we did Spider-Verse. Marvel did do a little mini kind of documentary thing about Dan Slott and what is Marvel style.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that premiered, a bunch of artists came out and said, yeah, we don't like working Marvel style or with Dan Slott because he waits to the last minute.
Yeah.
And
gives us the script and then have to.
I could see where, like, especially younger people, it's more of, hey, just tell me what to draw, dude.
Yeah. Just like don't make me think of what you want. Just tell me your vision,
and then I can like do what I do best, which is draw and try to make it as good as possible, instead of spending half my time
just trying to figure out what to fit in this story.
And like how to pace a story and stuff like that. That's your job. And I've never met Dan Slott. I've never met those artists.
Yeah, of course.
Probably never will. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, this I feel like is what happens when maybe it's not gelling correctly. So I don't know. But like I said, there was tons of text. It got to the point where, granted, this was the last thing I read.
Yeah,
and I was reading it.
Already read it the day before.
It was yesterday morning, so there wasn't like Saturday when I was watching college football.
Yeah, college football.
But it definitely was where I was just like, okay, dude, like at one point I just started following the actual drawings, and I was like, I don't need all the information he's writing in these text bubbles.
Yeah.
And so I just started following the story that way and sped through it. But I mean, I can't be wanting to fall asleep or just speed through it and me say it's a good story. So
I agree. I felt like in the first issue where She-Hulk is approached by the magistrate and becomes pretty much a judge for the Watchers.
Yeah.
I felt like that was
nowhere
because it did, and
they were leading so hard to where issue 6 led off.
Right, and I thought that was really cool. Also, very out of left field.
Yeah.
That then she now has to go beat this champion, gets the shit rocked out of her.
Yeah.
And somehow her working out as her human self exponentially makes her She-Hulk self stronger.
Yeah. That made perfect sense to me.
Sure. I would imagine that her strength as a human would have nothing to do with her strength as a...
Well...
So you're telling me that if Bruce Banner wasn't a nerd and he was it's his regular self, it's just a bodybuilder, Hulk would be exponentially even stronger than he already is.
The way I think about superpowers is You remember in X-Men First Class
Yeah.
where he brings all those people over to the X Mansion and he's like, "Look, your mutant powers are like a muscle. So the more you work
Yes.
out or the more you work on it, the stronger it
Okay.
gets." And when the Hulk is literally just your strength multiplied by whatever number, well, the more you increase your strength, you exponentially increase the Hulk strength. Let's say the Hulk makes you 90
I
times stronger
yeah.
and you're at a
And if,
5.
and if you
Well,
go
if you
to a
get yourself
10,
to a 10, well,
you're
then
90 times 10.
yeah,
Okay. All right. That when you flesh it out,
yeah.
it does make sense. It's just a little
hmm
odd.
And that's the kind of, because I was still reading at that point, but that's
Yeah.
the point Pugsley made or something. I don't know.
Pug.
It was
Yeah.
either Pug or
It was him.
Adam Warlock said something like
No, it
that.
was Pug.
Yeah.
And then you go from that drawing style to the more kind of iconic, what it seemed like the more iconic kind of She-Hulk, really
Yeah.
ripped, really tall,
hmm
or even taller. I wasn't a fan of the artist transitioning. Like it seemed like they just threw everybody at it.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey, everybody gets a page. Everybody gets something.
Yeah.
Have fun."
There were a couple drawings where I was like, who is drawing? Oh, that's the worst drawn Beta Ray Bill I've ever seen.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, his teeth look like they're going up and down. Not like a horse's head. It's like
Yeah.
it's like he's looking ahead,
Also,
and all
he
of his
had
teeth were just everywhere.
Legit no muscle.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Yeah. And I'm not one of these people that is like, oh, I like my comics like super roided out and shit like that.
But
But I mean, like,
Beta Ray Bill has.
you should have some type of like,
He had the power
you
of
shouldn't
Hulk.
have-
So
like toothpin arms.
yeah.
So
There's just some very odd choices in art style in this one.
yeah.
And then you got the introduction to Titania.
Yeah.
Also thought that was really weird.
Now what? Like, that's where I started like flipping through. But in the show they call her an influencer villain.
Okay.
What was her stuff?
In this?
Yeah.
So she was a premature baby. The Watcher gives a story talking to the champion. And the Watcher tells the champions like she was premature. She always grew up too small. Always the runt. Always picked on. So bad that her nickname was Skeeter because she was always just
Dear Lord,
annoying to people and
Yeah.
in people's way. And then so they lived in Denver, and Spider Woman showed up. Has same hair, same kind of body style. And she told a friend of hers that she was Spider Woman to try and get some fame off of it. Takes her to a party, and some battle world, some dude that created like Battle World. I guess it's a long time ago story. Pulls their party, pulls Denver off out of the earth and takes it off to make Battle World. She's a part of it. Finds out she's not Spider Woman, and now the friends are trying to get her because she lied and got money out of it. Dr. Doom shows up, gives her and her friend powers, and that's where she becomes Titania.
Okay.
Beats the shit out of a bunch of heroes because they're on Battle World and it's villains against heroes. Yeah. Then she gets to She-Hulk, and She-Hulk just fucking like just one hand. Yeah. Just like not even. Then she starts calling She-Hulk calls her Skeeter, and like starts picking on her.
Bullying
the shit out of her.
Okay. Interesting.
Then they end up getting back home. Titania's really like down. Denver wins again. Loses to Spider-Man. I mean, it's like starting to lose to people. They already shown her beat Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's good. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Champion shows up. You saw where She-Hulk turned around and smacked her with the Jupiter suit on, and she just get launched.
Yeah.
That's when the Champion shows up, gives her the Power Stone, and
they brought the Infinity Stone into this?
Yeah, that's what the Champion had when he was fighting. Okay. He was Power Primordial or something.
Oh, I saw.
That was the red, and Warlock had the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
But Adam couldn't use the Soul Stone in the boxing ring because that was a superpower. But that's what happened. That's how She-Hulk gets around it. Is how she beats him. Is like, no, you said this is no power fight. Yeah. You're using that as power.
Yeah.
And then just beats his ass.
Yeah.
And so of course Titania gets it, beats the shit out of everybody, and then she kills She-Hulk, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, you can get the gems from people by just willing them to come to you. Like your willpower is better."
What
So
does
they're
this say
saying
for-
Titania,
Like the Green Lantern or something.
like they were saying Titania was controlling the Power Stone by just like her will to kill She-Hulk was so powerful that she could possess the power. Kills the the pink dude, the gum dude,
Yeah.
and loses the will to want to kill, and so She-Hulk just goes, "That's mine now because I want to beat the shit out of you."
Oh.
I'm like,
Interesting.
okay, seems like a real steal from Green Lantern here, but
Well, you could have just had them fight, but whatever.
yeah. But it felt like the first half of this and the second half of this were just so disconnected from each other.
Yeah, I don't know. It was definitely something, but
How about the bus coming through the office window,
yeah, it's funny.
killing two of the bosses, and then almost killing the girl that's been a bitch to She-Hulk the whole time, but she's still in a coma, maybe getting out of it at the end.
Well, shouldn't be a con.
What I expected when they said that two of the dudes died is I was waiting on the Asian guy, the boss, to go, "We want to offer you and the other girl to be, I guess partners. I guess it'd be partners in the law firm." But they didn't, and it just kind of poop.
Oh, that's weird.
It just ended. I mean, that's how it was like. Yeah, we will rebuild this the way it was. Because also you have Hercules lost a lawsuit, so he had to pay $160-something million. So he has none of his money. So now he's working as a construction worker to make money now.
Good.
Which is I kind of liked it. That's kind of funny. It was like,
it was funny.
It's like, yeah, superheroes can't just beat the shit out of people. It's like,
Well, yeah.
like you can't, like what Hercules did was just like, "Oh, you a piece of shit," and just pow, broke his nose and face and threw him into the wall. And
If they let you haven't seen
Thor: Love and Thunder.
that or
It comes out in 3 days on Disney Plus.
that
I'm still not really looking forward to
or-
it.
God dang it! Why you hit? It's a Apple Plus show. American football coach goes and coaches soccer.
Yeah,
Ted Lasso.
yeah.
So you don't know who Roy Kent is, but if they he's playing Hercules, and if they let him do Roy Kent as Hercules, it'll be funny as shit. But yeah, looks like we made it close enough to time. So we'll pick a short segment today. I'm gonna say let's do personal recommendations.
Alright.
I will go first.
Yeah.
I have two. My first one is more of a shout out. Personally recommend getting you some good friends. I just wanted to brag on my good friend here, Davis, for possibly getting me the best birthday gift I got this year. Now, granted, I tell my family and most of my friends to just give me cash because for whatever reason, people just don't understand me and just buy stuff. I had to tell people to quit buying me clothes because one, they don't know my sizes. Two,
Right.
they don't know how I like to dress, and so I've been getting cash, which I love because then I can spend it how I want. But my friend Davis here got me the Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder, Batman run Omnibus Volume 1. And funny story, when I went to go buy you that Darth Vader book, I had talked to the guy who was in the comic book store. I was like, yeah, I lost a bet. I had to buy him $100 comic book, and it just completely wiped out my savings for this book. And he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll hold you one. But and I was like, so when I got here this week to record, and you're like, hey, your birthday present's over there, and I opened it, I was like, holy shit. But yeah, so get good friends. Davis got me this awesome gift for my birthday. Yeah. And for those of you who will bitch, I got him probably not as good a gift, but for his birthday, I got him the Invincible Compendium, not Compendium, the hardcover number 2 because he already had number 1.
Yep.
And a Flash hardcover. So
Yeah.
But yeah, my second one is, dang, I forgot to bring it here. I think it's called Demon Wars. It's a Marvel comic book. Issue 1 is out now. Demon Wars, the Iron Man or something like that, or Iron Warrior. It seems to be kind of Civil War-esque, but it's Marvel Universe in Futile Japan. It's pretty cool. I've only, like I said, issue 1's out now. That's all I've read. But probably going to be added to my pull list. So.
Sweet. I'll have to catch that one. Pick it up
Yeah.
and see what it's about. My list or my recommendation for the week is House of Dragons.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
We're boycotting it until that guy finishes his book.
Well, you can piss right off because it's damn good. You've got, I mean, it's about 173 years before Game of Thrones. I mean, you're getting introduced to already, you've gotten to see them riding dragons. They're already using the dragons and fighting. You've already got killing to start the episodes off. It's betrayal. We're 2 episodes, I think 3 episodes in as of yesterday. Haven't gotten to see it. And
yeah, because I was here.
yeah, and also my wife wasn't. But we're also getting, so far we've also gotten some pretty decent time jumps. Like
Time jump?
like between year 1 and or episode 1 and 2, we had like a 6-month jump
Why?
to progress the story along. It's only like 10 episodes, and they seem to be wanting to do this girl's reign, and it's going to take. They want to get it done.
Are they only planning 1 season?
Well, I think the way I look at it is I think they did it to see, okay, if people like it, we can focus on another Targaryen story. Or we can slow it down in season 2. But right now, we want to flesh out. We don't want to sit here and spend like Game of Thrones time on it,
Yeah.
and no one like it, and it just goes up in smoke.
I gotcha.
I've heard rumors that they want to do this, that they've wanted to do another season where it is the war with the Mad King, and so you get the.
Say, are they going to go all the way to the Mad King?
Well, that's it's kind of up in the air right now. What I did not like about it is you don't get to see the Targaryens take over Westeros. And
I thought that's what this whole show was about.
no, we're like, it's like not quite 100 years after the Targaryens have gotten there, but it's also not showing their takeover of Westeros. And
sounds like he needs to finish Winds of Winter and his Dream of Spring.
Yeah. But definitely recommend it. I think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be as good as Game of Thrones, just because Game of Thrones had material to work with.
Yeah.
But this will be fun. You get new characters, new things, and they've already thrown Easter eggs in from the Game of Thrones series. And
I will say that first weekend when everybody just seemingly forgot how mad they were about the end.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they're all tweeting about how awesome it was that first weekend. It did take a lot out of me to not watch it.
Yeah.
But no, fuck that. Finish the books.
Got a boycotter.
Yep.
But
I stayed strong. You all went crying back to your ex that treated you horribly. So
we did, with open arms.
Yep. But next week we are catching up with all the TV that's coming out. We're gonna do Volume 1 of Paper Girls.
Woohoo!
Kind of came out quietly, although I've heard a lot of good things. Paper Girls, season 1, they dropped it all at once on Amazon Prime. I've watched the first episode, but then I wanted to read this book or read Volume 1 before I watched any more. So, but we'll talk about that next week.
Alrighty.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.